Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a tech titan. So legendary, a book about him is provocatively titled The Difference Between God and Larry Ellison. That's our focus today.
Quite the title, isn't it? Really grabs you.
It really does. We're diving deep into the life and empire of Larry Ellison, the co-founder and longtime CEO of Oracle. And we're drawing exclusively from Mike Wilson's comprehensive biography, the one with that title, The Difference Between God and Larry Ellison, Complete Knowledge Guide.
Right.
So our mission, really, in this deep dive is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the really surprising insights from all this rich material.
Yeah.
What can you, our listener, learn about, say, entrepreneurship, leadership, even the strategic power of personal branding from one of the most, audacious figures in tech history?
And what's fascinating here, I think, is how that title, that provocative title, it immediately signals the core of Ellison's persona. It's, yes, a blend of legendary ego, sure, but also, crucially, this strategic genius. And that profoundly shaped Oracle's culture, its whole trajectory. We're not just looking at a company, as a standalone thing,
Right.
but really as a direct reflection, almost an uncanny extension of its founder's will and vision. It kind of sets the stage for understanding the kind of leader he was.
Absolutely.
And how that personal audacity translated into, very aggressive, a very successful corporate strategy.
Absolutely. And when you start peeling back the layers, the man behind the myth, his origins are actually quite surprising, especially given the larger-than-life figure he became.
Yeah, definitely not what you might expect.
You might not know this, but Ellison was born to an unmarried teenage mother, then adopted, raised in Chicago's middle-class South Shore neighborhood. It's a far cry from the yachts and private islands he's known for now.
A world away, really.
But here's where it gets really interesting and quite revealing about his character, even early on. The book details how he consistently reimagined his personal narrative.
Like often embellishing his background to create a more compelling, almost mythical personal story. What does that subtle yet persistent self-reinvention tell us about his approach to life and business, even before Oracle?
Well, it suggests a very early, maybe intuitive grasp of narrative control, of perception management, which, he would leverage throughout his entire career.
Right.
He was, in a sense, branding himself way before he ever branded a company. It's quite something.
He really was.
And yet, for all that personal myth-making, the actual start of Oracle itself, it's rooted in something maybe more grounded, but also maybe more surprising than a classic garage startup.
Yeah, the book reveals that Oracle actually began as a project for the CIA. Think about that for a second.
The CIA.
A top-secret government contract, right, to
Yeah.
develop a relational database management system. And the code name, Oracle.
Wow.
So this raises a really important question. How did Ellison, so early on, recognize that data, not just applications, but the data itself, would become the single most valuable asset for businesses? Good question.
He didn't just pioneer the tech. He saw its fundamental role, the foundation of modern enterprise computing, years before the mainstream business world really got it.
That CIA connection is just fascinating, isn't it? It suggests this, deep foundational understanding of information, of managing it.
For sure.
And from that initial kind of niche project, Oracle didn't just grow, it exploded. Their whole approach to the market was, nothing short of aggressive.
Oh, absolutely. Infamous for it.
Oracle became infamous for its win-at-all-cost sales mentality. Ellison apparently views business as warfare. Competitors are enemies to be, decisively defeated.
Yeah, no prisoners.
It's an incredibly intense stance. And it translated into concrete actions, like strategically positioning Oracle as the sophisticated, more flexible alternative to IBM's big mainframe databases.
Right. They weren't just competing.
They weren't just vying for market share. They were trying to systematically conquer it. Can you give us a sense of how that warfare mentality actually showed up in their sales tactics?
Yeah, absolutely. The book paints this really vivid picture. It's like a sales force operating with almost military precision, just relentless ambition.
Wow.
It wasn't just about closing a deal. It was about dominating the territory. Oracle salespeople were known for these audacious tactics, like sometimes going into a competitor's accounts and offering a deal that just seemed irresistible.
Undercutting them.
Oh, yeah, or leveraging any tiny perceived weakness in a rival's product. This wasn't just like an aggressive attitude. It was a deeply ingrained cultural thing driven from the very top.
From Ellison himself.
Exactly. He fostered this super competitive internal environment too. Success was rewarded lavishly. Failure was just not an option. And this extended beyond sales, right, to their expansion strategy.
Ah, right. The rapid expansion.
They pursued rapid international expansion, often before they even had solid operational foundations in those new markets. Now, on the surface, that sounds kind of reckless, doesn't it?
Does sound risky, yeah.
But for Ellison, it was a calculated risk. He believed in grabbing market share fast, establishing that footprint, and then worrying about shoring up operations later. It was a race for global dominance, and he was willing to make these bold, maybe even uncomfortable moves to win it.
It sounds like building the plane while you're flying it, but at supersonic speed. It's definitely testament to his audacious vision, but surely that kind of relentless growth must have had a downside.
Oh, it did, a major one.
And yeah, the book details that this relentless push led to a near-death experience for Oracle. Early 90s, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just a bump in the road, it was a serious crisis.
It was a true financial reckoning, seriously. The book really digs into how the aggressive sales tactics, combined with, let's say, equally aggressive accounting practices, led Oracle to basically book future revenues as if they were current. They were counting money they didn't actually have yet.
Oh, wow. That's dangerous.
Extremely. It inflated their reported earnings, sure, but it created these massive cash flow problems. They were spending money that wasn't really there. It was like a house of cards, and it almost collapsed the entire company.
So what happened?
Well, the crisis forced a massive management overhaul. Insiders described it as this period of intense pain where Oracle had to fundamentally rethink its financial controls, its operational efficiency, everything.
Got to grow up fast.
Exactly. They had to pull back from some of that rapid expansion, cut costs, and crucially shift focus away from just growth at any cost towards sustainable, profitable growth. It offers huge lessons for any scaling company, really.
Yeah, you can see that.
Even with visionary leadership and a great product, if you neglect the fundamentals like financial management, operational discipline, it can be fatal. It forced Ellison, maybe just for a bit, to temper that raw ambition with a dose of hard-won pragmatism.
That near miss certainly forged a different kind of Oracle, didn't it? Maybe a stronger one, eventually.
You could argue that, yeah.
And it also sort of codified what we can really call the Ellison method, this distinct approach to both business strategy and, interestingly, personal brand. One key takeaway for me is his vision before validation approach. Ellison consistently bet on technologies, on market trends, long before the wider market was ready, or even understood them.
He had incredible foresight there.
A prime example from the book was his early, unwavering belief in what he called network computing. Basically, applications delivered over a network from a central server.
Which sounds a lot like
cloud computing.
Yeah.
Yeah, years, maybe decades, before the internet was ubiquitous and way before cloud was even a term. He understood that controlling the database layer meant controlling the entire software stack.
He saw the whole chessboard.
So what does this mean for you if you're trying to innovate maybe in your own business or career? It's about having that conviction in your vision, right? Even when the market is skeptical, and being willing to invest ahead of the curve.
That's spot on. He wasn't waiting for the market to tell him he was right. He was basically creating the market by building the infrastructure he believed everyone would eventually need.
Yeah.
And this foresight, it was complemented by Oracle's sales organization. It became legendary, really a template for lots of enterprise software companies that followed.
How so?
Well, the book describes their sales culture in detail. Rigorous training, incredibly clear, very demanding performance metrics, a deep customer focus like bordering on obsession, and just pure, unrelenting persistence.
Wow.
It wasn't just about having a great product. It was about having a world-class sales machine that could effectively communicate its value and just crush any objection. Oracle sales reps were truly empowered and driven.
And it wasn't just the company's image he focused on, was it?
Yeah.
Ellison understood that his personal image, his own brand, directly impacted Oracle's market perception.
Absolutely. Massively.
His famously extravagant lifestyle, the America's Cup yacht racing, the stunning real estate like that Japanese-inspired estate, the private jets, even buying a whole Hawaiian island.
Lanai, yeah.
Right. The book suggests this wasn't just personal indulgence. It was actually a deeply strategic form of brand building. Yeah. How did that work as a business asset?
Well, it was kind of a masterclass in work-life integration, where personal interests actively supported business objectives. This wasn't just a CEO blowing off steam. It was about crafting a persona, an image.
So the flashiness had a purpose.
Definitely.
Yeah.
His extravagant lifestyle, it fostered customer confidence. I mean, if the thinking goes, if he can afford all this, Oracle must be doing incredibly well, right?
Makes sense.
It attracted top talent, too. People wanted to be part of that winning, audacious culture. It generated immense media coverage, basically free publicity for Oracle, keeping Ellison in the spotlight. And maybe most subtly, it gave him a psychological edge over competitors. It projected this image of power, success, even invincibility. That can be pretty intimidating to your rivals. He built a personal brand that was totally synonymous with Oracle's ambition and success.
That's a truly unique aspect of his leadership, just blurring those lines between personal and professional for strategic gain. But what's fascinating, and maybe contradicts that flashy image a bit, is that beneath the flamboyant exterior and that legendary ego, the book also reveals this other side of Ellison.
The discipline side.
Yeah, the side that practiced relentless self-improvement, continuous learning across diverse fields, mastering new tech, even maintaining this intense focus on physical fitness. It wasn't all just yachts and grand pronouncements, was it?
Not at all. And this raises a really interesting question for us to think about. How much does maintaining that kind of disciplined personal life, the continuous learning, the physical rigor, how much does that contribute to professional performance, and especially to the capacity for high-stakes, calculated risk-taking like his?
That's a great question.
Ellison was known for just immersing himself in complex topics way beyond software, like physics, biology, even martial arts. He famously studied Sun Tzu's The Art of War and applied its principles directly to business strategy.
Wow.
And his dedication to fitness, sailing, tennis, it wasn't just a hobby. It was part of his personal discipline, fueling his high energy levels, his resilience. It suggests that for Ellison, excellence wasn't compartmentalized.
They're holistic.
Exactly. It permeated every aspect of his life. And that arguably provided him with the mental and physical stamina needed to lead Oracle through literally decades of intense competition and transformation. It's a powerful testament, really, to the idea that your personal habits can be a profound engine for professional success.
So from that $1,200 start, a secret CIA project, navigating near collapse under its own ambition, and then rising to just global dominance. Larry Ellison's story, as revealed in The Difference Between God and Larry Ellison, it's a real deep dive into audacious vision, ruthless execution, and that constant strategic self-reinvention.
Yeah, quite a journey.
His journey really underscores the power of seeing data as the future, betting big on your convictions, even when the market isn't quite there yet. And, well, the almost unbelievable leverage you can gain by carefully cultivating your personal life as a powerful brand asset. It's truly a testament to how one individual's singular personality can profoundly shape an entire industry.
Absolutely. And this deep dive into Ellison's journey through Wilson's biography, it really highlights that knowledge isn't just about, accumulating facts. It's about understanding the mindset, the often unconventional strategies that allow a visionary to turn seemingly impossible ideas into a tangible, world-changing reality. So as you reflect on Ellison's story, maybe consider this. In what areas of your own life or work could you maybe challenge conventional wisdom? Could you adopt a bit more of that calculated risk-taking or that relentless self-improvement mindset?
Food for thought.
And how might a more conscious, strategic understanding of your own personal brand, maybe inspired a little by Ellison's approach, unlock unexpected opportunities for growth and influence, allowing your unique qualities to actively support your professional ambitions? Makes you think, doesn't it?